Shalom, shalom, shalom. As always, I want to give all the praises and the glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to our apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men. Shalom to the elect men, women, and children, the remnant of the children of Israel. Many are called, few are chosen. Chosen are the elect, the Bible refers to. Praise and glory. So I just kind of wanted to just do a little response to this video here and what this guy was saying. This U.S. Army Green Beret guy. He's one of those. He's like a special forces guy, Green Beret in the U.S. Army. And he did a video a few days ago regarding the current events that's going on around the world and how to survive an American Civil War, societal collapse. As you can see, it's called Guide to Surviving America's Civil War and Societal Collapse. So I just kind of want to play bits of this video here, and he says quite a lot, and I want to kind of do a response to. I want to bring out some scriptures while he's speaking certain things, basically, and so we're going to kind of do like a running commentary in parts of this video. Right now, he says quite a lot in it, and as always, sometimes some stuff they say is, it's off there. He's speaking he's looking through a secular lens on what's going on around the world and what he believes is going to happen in America. As we've always tell you that it's prophetic what's going to take place in America and around the world. It's just that a lot of these guys that are looking at these things through a secular lens don't know that what they're saying is actually prophetic. It is Bible prophecy. They don't realize it because they're not prophets. They're not studying the scriptures, so they have no idea what they're actually saying is prophetic. So without further ado, let's go into the video, and then we're going to do what we do best. We're going to bring out some scriptures. All right, so let's hit the button. I'm going to start it about here, about the 19th minute mark. I want to start it. All right. So up until this point, he was talking about the events of a Donald Trump presidency or a Kamala Harris presidency, and what the pros and cons are going to be from both of the outcomes of either one winning the presidency. So he was speaking about that. But basically, what he was saying that either way, he believes that there's going to be a civil war that's going to break out in America. It doesn't matter who comes into power, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. This is basically what he was speaking of up until this point here. So let's just listen up.
That's one scenario. Okay. The other scenario that I foresee is terrorist attacks. And by that, I mean set up terrorist attacks, right? So I think a very likely scenario of something happening is something like a black church in the South is going to be hit with a truck bomb. Hundreds or thousands of people are going to be killed. They'll blame it on a far-right extremist Trump supporter. The left will come out in massive protests. The right's going to be pissed off, come out, counter protest hits, boom, that can set the ignite off, right? That's how it's going to look, I think. And it's the most likely way it's going to look. These things happen with sort of an atomic bomb. A singular atom splits and it explodes from there. All right, so let's be very clear. The last thing any of you want is civil war. I hear people talking about this all the time. Oh, civil war and this and that. And guys, war is ugly. I've done it myself. None of you want it. None of you are.
So, we can agree that's the last thing people want, but we know, according to Bible prophecy, there is going to be a civil war that's going to break out in America. There's going to be a complete breakdown of society in America, which is it's going to be like a domino effect to the rest of the nations around the world. All right.
Ready for it. At the end of the day, it's not cool. It's not going to be like the movies in Hollywood. Okay. And to the right, who I always hear say, oh, one side has all the guns and the other side can't figure out which bathroom to use. Okay, true. However, that's not how civil wars work, right? When a real civil war or collapse happens in America, it is not going to just be right versus left. Why? Because after probably about the first 72 hours, okay, all the foreign nations, sleeper cells.
And this is why I called this video the first 72 hours, because he's specifically going to speak about the breakdown within the first 72 hours. All right. Hence why I titled it the first 72 hours, 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 17, because a lot of what he is saying is prophetic in the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 2nd Esdras chapter 16. All right.
Which are here, okay, China, Russia, Iran, all of them are going to get activated, and those foreign countries are going to come and be involved as well, okay? And which side, I know the right's super confident, which side do you think China is going to jump in on? Which side do you think Russia is going to jump in on? They're going to jump in on the side of the socialists and the communists, right? Why? Because they know they'll be able to collapse the country, and the best thing that could happen in the world for these countries is for America to completely collapse, okay? So do not think, as a right-wing conservative, you are going to have the advantage in an actual civil war. It is not going to just be like the first Civil War, okay? Understand that. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be chaos. If it gets to that point, it's bad news, guys. You do not want to, none of us want to live through that, right? But if it does get to that point, part 3 and 4, how we actually survive. Let's move into that. All right.
But we know it's definitely going to get to that point. We know that. We know that scripturally, it's definitely going to get to that point. You know, the collapse of society in America, the breakdown between the left, the right, you know, people of color, the Edomites, the nations. It's going to break down to factions within America. We 100% know that's going to take place. But the fact is that when America collapses, it's going to be a domino effect around the world. Now, listen to what he says here.
So the reason why I wanted to explain part 2 and how these things most likely are going to look, which ignite the problem and how it will actually explode to the rest of the country, is you being able to understand, see that, and visualize it is going to give you a leg up on everyone else, okay? It's going to be a short amount of time once this thing explodes, okay? So that's why part 3 is going to be surviving the first 72 hours. This is by far the most critical 72 hours of your life, okay? And the first 12 hours is for sure the most important. Why? Because in the first 12 hours, 99% of people aren't going to do anything. They're going to watch this, or they'll be in the riots, okay? They're going to be watching it on TV. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening in America, right? That type of thing. That's your window. This is going to be your window really to survive. And this is really aimed at those of you in urban areas, okay? Those of us like me who live in rural areas have a massive leg up on survival. That's the reality of it, okay? All of this initially is going to be urban warfare and urban environments, okay? So this is really directed to those of you who are living in urban environments. It is critical for you to do these things, what I'm going to teach you here.
Now, when he says urban environments, he's talking about the cities, all right? And this is why I say that. So this is why I say he's looking at this through a secular lens. For those of us that have truly repented, converted, and come back to this truth, to our heritage, all right? We have to look to the Lord, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, because this is going to take place in America, but it's going to be a global event. It's going to affect everywhere because it's going to spread like wildfire. And this is why in the book of Proverbs, when it says, I think it's Proverbs 18, verse 10, the name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. This is why we continuously tell you that to call on the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the name of your Savior, Yahweh Shai, the name of the Father's Yahweh. As the scripture says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The name is Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. The Father's name is Yahweh. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai. The righteous run us into it and is safe. That's what we got to look to. But listen to what he says.
When you see real signs and symptoms, and by that I mean when you see counter protesters and it turns into Americans versus Americans and police can't control anything, this is your moment to enact your plan here. Okay, understand, again, first 12 hours. Why is it important? Like I just said, no one else will be moving, but you will. Okay, so number one, if you are cognizant enough to pull this off in the first 12 hours, you will have time in the first 12 hours to exit your city. Okay, you get asked this a lot about, well, how the hell do we get out of the city in your first 12 hours? Okay, once you get past that 12 hours, your likelihood of being able to survive or get outside the city is going to plummet dramatically. Because again, while everybody else is watching this in shock, you're moving with your family. All right, so understand.
And that's exactly what will happen, right? Because we've always said this, people are going to be watching the events on TV, right? And then it's going to get to the position where it's too late for them, those that are in the secular world, to move, to get out of the fire, to get out of the hot spots. It's going to be too late for them, as he's going to explain to you as such. And that's exactly how it will go down with the majority of the people in Babylon the Great, America. Listen up.
That when this happens for real, okay, everything's going to get shut off. And I'll give you an example of a video here in Bangladesh.
The death toll from the government's crackdown on massive student protest has risen to at least 174, with more than 2,500 people arrested. Internet access across most of Bangladesh remained dark for a fifth day. Police and soldiers have been granted shoot-on-sight orders amidst a nationwide curfew. Protesters are seeking job security and higher pay and want an end to civil service job quotas.
Where this is happening, this is from this week, okay? You're looking at massive civil unrest, basically the collapse of their society. And what did the government do? Immediately shuts off the internet, immediately shuts off all the cell phone towers, right? The police start shooting on sight. Utter chaos. Okay. When we left Afghanistan, what did we do? We shut off all the internet. We shut off all the cell phone towers. Why? So nobody could transmit in or out. Okay. So this will happen. That'll be another sign for you. If you're in,
he's 100% right, because that's one of the main things that they're going to shut down. And this is why we said when we talk about those pop-up camps, those pop-up Hebrew Israelite camps, once the internet is shut down, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. All right. They're not going to know what to do with themselves. They're not, you see, because, Apostle Gabar always talks about this, he always says that, these guys that call themselves prophets and popping up on the highways and hedges, and they're teaching all sorts of madness, and they're screaming and they're antagonizing the public, and they're making verbal confrontation with the public, and they're preaching and prophesying with their hats on, and they're wearing T-shirts and all sorts of madness. These guys truly don't know what they're into. And this is why when this internet shuts down, and it will, just like he's telling you, they're not going to know what to do with themselves, because these guys, these pop-up prophets, did not truly believe. And that's what I call them, pop-up prophets. They did not truly believe. So anyway, listen to what he says.
You're watching this on TV, massive, insane riot breaks out, right? Counter protesters, urban warfare is broken out. Your cell phone tower or your cell phone signal goes out, your internet goes out. You got to move, guys. You can't wait it out, right? Better safe than sorry on this. So what do you need to do? If you catch it, first 12 hours, get out. So again, and let me talk about, I'll read off my whole list here of all the things that will actually be shut off, okay? So they're going to shut off the internet, cell phone towers, power, water, anything that runs on electricity. You won't be able to get gas out of a gas station, right? Because everything's digital now. Okay. Major highways are going to become blocked, impossible to get through, impassable. Police and military won't be able to stop it. And let's keep in mind, why won't they be able to stop it? Because when this gets bad enough, officers are going to be home with their families trying to protect them. So are military soldiers. Okay. And again, your best chance here is, even if you live in New York City downtown, or you live in downtown Chicago, in that first 12 hours, anywhere in America, guys, you are less than 12-hour drive away from a extremely rural area or a forest or anything like that. Okay, that's why it's so imperative that you move in the first 12 hours. Okay. Now, if you have family in a rural area and you can get out to them, great. A very important thing is for you to get to a community rather than be by yourself. But one of the best things that you can possibly do is get out to a forested area. And I'm not talking about a campground. I'm talking about miles out into the forest where nobody is and nobody would expect to get to. And you wait this out. Okay. So that's real survival, right? You basically are waiting out the collapse for the first 72 hours or as long as you possibly can sustain yourself. Okay. The reality is, let's look at 24 to 72 hours. If you are living in New York City, downtown Chicago, wherever, you wait and you hit the break point past 24 hours, the likelihood you're going to survive long term, because the chaos lasts long term, is almost zero. Why? No resources are going to be coming in and out of that city until the situation ends, which could be years. Okay. This will turn into massive urban warfare. Okay. Why? Because
we don't believe this is going to last years, but we can't say to you how long the disruption, the chaos is going to go on for. Enough for them, because remember, in all of what's going to take place, the whole system is going to be switched over during that time. That's why all of these events that we see taking place, from the C-19 pandemics to the blackouts to the shutdowns of the internet partially, parts of the internet's being shut down. These are all dry runs in them preparing for the big one. But something's got to spark this. Something's got to spark this fire. And this is what they are planning to do. And this is when and from this chaos, this is when they're going to look to switch the system. Literally going to switch the lights off. And when they switch it on again, there's going to be a new system in place. And this, more likely, is where the MOTB gets introduced on a global scale, when this complete collapse takes place, as the scripture talks about in Revelations 3 and 10, the hour of temptation. All right, listen to a little bit more of this.
Years. Okay. This will turn into massive urban warfare. Okay. Why? Because everyone in the city didn't prepare. They don't have food, they don't have water, and all they can do is try to go out and procure it from someone else. Okay. It is basically, if you watch the movies The Purge, think about that amplified time.
And we say that all the time, right? We say what you see in the movies Purge, these are all predictive programming that they're getting ready to do. This is all what we call predictive programming, is what they're getting ready to do. So films like the movie Purge are just predictive programming on the general public in preparation in what they're planning on doing.
Watch the movies The Purge. Think about that amplified times 10. Okay. It's basically going to be warlord, gang ridden. You will not be able to travel throughout the city. It'll be, good luck. I mean, again, your chance of survival is almost zero. So if you get to that point, understand you probably waited too long. That's why it's so imperative for us to move quickly. All right. Because you're going to be trying to move through, all the streets are going to be blocked. All the highway exits are going to be blocked, and people are going to be waiting there to loot and rob and kill people who are trying to exit. People will be coming through your homes, your apartments in massive groups to loot and rob and kill. Everybody you thought was a nice human being, when it's collapse of society and they're going to starve to death and their families are going to die, nobody's a good human being anymore, guys. Not even me, right? And if you're not somebody who's prepared, you're going to be a victim. That's the reality of it, to somebody who's better equipped than you are. So
anyway, let me bring out a few scriptures. And he's just making it plain and clear. And like I said, everything this brother was saying was literally prophetic. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 was all I could think of when I heard what he had to say regarding the situation and what he believes is going to take place in America. He's saying by the end of the year, the beginning of next year, after the presidential race, he believes there's going to be a complete breakdown in society because the left are not going to accept the right and the right are not going to accept the left to say that they've won. So the supporters of the Democrats are not going to accept if the Republicans win the presidency and vice versa. Now, that doesn't have to be the actual thing that ignites what's going to go on. It doesn't have to be to do with the president. It could be something else that sparks it off between the two sides, between the so-called patriots and the liberals and so forth and so on. It could be something else that sparks that match. But that's one of the leading contenders. It's what's taking place and what will take place in this presidential debate. That's going to, the presidential runoff that's coming in November. Who wins this? That could cause it, or it could be something else that happens during that time or just after that time that causes the complete collapse and breakdown of society in America. That's going to enable this civil war to take place. So this is what I said. He said when he was saying you got 72 hours to leave the city, he goes, if you're not left the city in the first 12 hours, he said, that's it, you're trapped. He says the first 72 hours is the most important time when society breaks down, when America breaks down. The first 72 hours is the most important time. So like I said, he made it clear. He said, look, the people are going to be robbing, stealing, killing. They're going to be home invasions. He says going to be taking place. He said they're going to be coming into your house. They're going to be stealing your goods. He goes, he was even honest. He said, even him. He goes, even he is not going to be the same person when all shit breaks down. If he needs something, he said he's just going to go and take it. He said, you're either going to be a survivor or a victim. But he made it clear the worst places for you to be primarily is in the city. So let me I want to go to 2nd Esdras. I think I saw a brother put it up on the comment board as well. Let me see if I can go it quickly. I did see someone drop it up there. Because exactly what's going to take place. Yeah, he did, yeah. Woe unto the Shalom, JMS and his likeness. Shalom, beloved brother. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. And that's what he was speaking on, right? He was saying that this is not just going to affect one city. He said it's going to spread like wildfire, but the spark is going to happen in one city. He said that's where the spark is going to happen, in one city. And this is exactly what he was speaking on here. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition amongst men and invading one another. Exactly what he said. He said there's going to be sedition amongst men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes. Exactly what he said. That's what everything he said was prophetic. He just doesn't know it. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's exactly what the brother said. Literally word for word. He said, if you haven't left the city within the first 12 hours, you're not going to be able to go into another city. He said the first 72 hours are the most important time when America society breaks down. That's exactly what he said. He said, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Let me see if I can just quickly play that back again where he said that. That's exactly what he said. Where are we at? 29th minute. So around here, I think he said that. Let me just see.
To move quickly, all right? Because you're going to be trying to move through. All the streets are going to be blocked. All the highway exits are going to be blocked. And people are going to be waiting there to loot and rob and kill people who are trying to exit. People will be coming through your homes, your apartments in massive groups to loot and rob and kill. Everybody you thought was a nice human being, when it's collapse of society and they're going to starve to death and their families are going to die, nobody's a good human being anymore, guys. Not even me, right? And if you are not, again, if you're not somebody who's prepared, you're going to be a victim. That's the reality of it, to somebody who's better equipped than you are.
He said, not even him. He said, everyone's good human is considered a good human being once before. He said, not even him. So man shall he just said it. He made it clear. He said, you're not going to be able to go in from one city to another. And this is why he was speaking directly about the first 72 hours. He said, if you have not left the city in 12 hours, he said, that's it. He said, verse 18, because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. What did he say? And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So he's making it quite clear. He's and like I said, he's saying a lot of prophetic things, but he doesn't realize what he's saying is prophetic. Doesn't realize what he's saying is prophetic. That's all it is. Brother David, 2 Ezra 6:24. At that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. I was even going to leave a comment on his board. I haven't done it yet, regarding 2 Ezra chapter 15, just to say, what he was speaking was literally prophetic. So let me go to, since the brother brought up 2 Ezra, let me just go to, I'm just going to quickly go to 2 Ezra chapter 9. And read a few verses down, and we're going to shut it down. 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. And he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, so he can see the signs, but he doesn't know it's prophetic. He's seen part of the signs pass that America is heading into a civil war, no matter who wins the election. It doesn't directly have to be the election that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, the flame that's going to light the fire. It doesn't have to directly be the election, but something that's come from it, or some other major event. But he can see it. He can see this America is heading into a civil war. So he can see the signs. He just doesn't know it's prophetic. But we know it's all prophetic. When thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. So we know these signs are prophetic. This is why we always filter events, secular events, news events in the secular world through the scriptures and what people are saying that they can see through their secular lens, because he's looking at these events and America through a secular lens. We're looking at it through a prophetic lens, but we understand what that brother was saying, that man was saying, is prophetic, even though he doesn't know it. It says, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And there are many other events around the world that is going on right now that are proving this. You've got Israel that killed, they killed one of Hezbollah's headmen in Lebanon yesterday, in Beirut, a targeted attack. And then today they followed it up by killing the head of Hamas's political wing in Iran through a precision drone strike attack in Iran. And Iran has threatened to retaliate, and Israel will regret what it's done. Iran, and they did it on the same day that the Iranians had the inauguration of their new president. He had already been voted in, but yesterday was his inauguration ceremony. So the head of Hamas's political wing was in Iran yesterday, because he lives in Qatar, to celebrate the inauguration of the new president of Iran. And that's the same time that they killed this man yesterday, through a drone strike. So a drone went into the Iranian airspace all the way to Tehran without being detected, to Tehran, and did a surgical strike and killed him and a few Iranian bodyguards. So, we're seeing more and more events take place, not just in America, but around the world, because ultimately they're all connected, all of these events. It says here, verse 3, it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and he was speaking about the uproars in Bangladesh, Kenya, you got the uproars going on in Venezuela. They're not accepting Nicolas Maduro's election, saying that he won the election by 51%. So there's uproars going on. As you hear one quietens down, another one starts up again. And this is why these events that are going to take place in America, it could come from the election, or something else could happen. It could be a major, like you said, it could be a major terrorist attack that takes place in America that causes this. Could be someone who's come across the border through the migrants and the refugees. It could, something major is going to happen. We can't say till we know directly what's going to be the spark that's going to cause it, the camel that breaks the straw's back. But what we do know is that America is going to break down. There is going to be civil unrest. There is going to be a collapse of the economy, the dollar, and it's going to be a domino effect across the world. So we are seeing uproars around the world, as he was speaking about. He himself was telling you about the different uproars that are taking place right now. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, because it's all prophetic. We understand that these were spoken from the beginning. Only the prophets truly understand what's going on. And through the Lord's prophets, we're able to feed the sheep. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So we can see the manifestation of the end through the works, the things that are taking place around the world. We can see this manifestation of this end. We can see it. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. We can see the effects and we can see the signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, because faith without works is dead, works without faith is dead, whereby ye have believed. So we have believed through our faith and through our works, through your works and through your faith. And we have believed in the name. It's like what Apostle Orion Lab was saying. The name Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is the glue to all of this that we believe in through our faith. That's the glue. The names of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is the glue. So we have believed. Shall be preserved from the said perils. This is what I said when I read out earlier. The name of the Lord is like a strong tower. Shall be preserved from the said perils that he was talking about. Shall see my salvation. We look into the Lord to deliver us through all of these times and tribulations, because we're all going to be tested and tried. Remember, we're still going to be tried right up until the end. Shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me. From when? From the beginning. Meaning the elect were sanctified and chosen before the beginning, before the earth was created. We were predestined. If we are part of the elect, we will make it. We just got to keep our faith and our trust in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. It's as simple as that. We just got to keep our faith and trust in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. So, I'm going to leave it there. I kind of really would just want to bring out what that guy was saying. Really, I just kind of want to bring it all out. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I know brother put up a precept. Let's grab the precept before we shut this down. 2 Esdras 8, chapter 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that are in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Beautiful precept to finish it on. They have truly walked in great pride. So anyway, I pray you're edified. As always, I'm going to give all the praises and the glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men. Shalom to the men, women, and children elect. Many are called, few are chosen. The chosen are the remnant of the children of Israel. The praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises. I hope you are edified. All praises.